It's difficult to know where to start with the President's Club, how aptly named, when the President of the United States would have been so at home in Park Lane just last Thursday night at the Gropers Convention, otherwise known as a charity event, that we must somehow overlook the foul, vicious nature of the whole enterprise. But I want to start with the positive. The scoop, old-fashioned scoop, by the wonderfully named Madison Marriage of the Financial Times will win awards here and across the world. It has painted the world of journalism pink, and it's a good thing. No FT, no comment, they used to say. It's seldom been true, in my opinion, but it is true today. It was a fantastic piece of undercover journalism, requiring some courage and skill, and on an issue which has somehow captured the zeitgeist, not just here, but in the United States and across, in fact, the whole world. And it shows you that real journalism by real reporters, real journalists, tackling the excesses of the rich and powerful, can still bring their expensive house down. And just today, the whole of the President's Club is no more. There's much to say about that President's Club as a charity in any case, and I think we'll be hearing more about it, and I will have more to say about it. But let's deal just with the event last Thursday and the main personnel involved. First of all, the charity was being organised by leading donors to the Conservative Party. One of the main prizes, indeed the main prize, was lunch with Boris Johnson. He would have kept his trousers on, no doubt, and he may have taken them to the Parliament. He says he knew nothing about it. Seems passing strange that top Tories, top toffs, top-hatted potentates would be offering lunch with Boris Johnson without his knowledge. If so, there's an issue arising there. But the main organisers were top Tory donors, and one of them had been appointed, guess what, to the Education Department as an advisor, because he's good with young people, apparently. Now, this Fink was appointed and has now resigned to the same department that Toby Young was appointed to by the same ministers just a few weeks ago. And so a morality tale heaves into view here. When I first glanced at the story, I thought it was William Zanzinger throwing his gold-tipped cane and killing poor Hattie Carroll. But that was only a song. Hattie Carroll was a black waitress, never dined once at their table, but was killed at their table by rich, entitled men. And there are two angles, dimensions to this, the richness and the menness, and I'm going to deal with both of them. You could get an idea of the kind of night that was in prospect by the fact that the young women working there were forced to sign a legally enforceable non-disclosure agreement so that they couldn't tell anyone what they saw or heard there or what happened to them there. You might have got a better idea if you'd known that the only waitresses that need apply had to be tall and thin, and when appointed, they had to wear high heels and matching underwear. Why would any of the customers know what their underwear was like. You might have got an idea when you saw the bouncers of the President's Club standing outside the ladies' toilet in a 5-star hotel in Park Lane, London, last Thursday night, timing the length of time that the waitresses were in the toilet. You might have got a better idea if you'd seen the organisers literally prodding the waitresses into deeper and more meaningful interaction with the rich oafs around the expensive tables. You might have got an idea, I know this is heretical to some, by the fact that it was a men-only event. What kind of a decent man in 2018? What kind of a decent company in 2018 accepts an invitation, pays a fortune for a table at a men-only event, at which the only women present have to be tall and thin and beautiful and wear matching underwear and high-heeled shoes, and must be prepared for £15 an hour wages to interact with the customers. Did their wives know that that was the kind of event that they were going to? The companies, did their shareholders know? Do their customers know that this is what they do with their company's money? It fills me with disgust, the very idea of it. And that's before you read, in my view, the unimpeachable journalism of Madison Marriage and the Financial Times about how she watched men putting their hands up women's skirts, fondling them, groping them, grabbing them. It's like something out of a Jack London horror story. If you've read The Iron Heel, it's like the dinner that Ernest Everard addressed of the rich and powerful in The Iron Heel. It's like an Orson Welles tale of excess, of greed, of corruption, of vice, and of the rottenness at the heart of so many men. And while I was preparing for this show, on the news comes this: Larry Nassar, disgraced US Olympics doctor, jailed for 175 years. They know how to sentence these beasts in the United States, unlike here. Sentenced to 175 years after testimony, which he forced them to give, from nearly 160 of his victims. And the judge, Rosemary Aquilina, told Nassar during the sentencing he will be in darkness the rest of his life. It is almost unbelievable how this is now impacting across the globe. The rottenness at the heart of so many men, especially men of power, influence, and wealth, that think that they can treat those over whom they have power, particularly women, but also boys, and especially children, young adults and children, abused by these human beasts in human form. And we have to root it out, you know. James was joking with me in the handover about all-male company. I've never liked it, partly because I'm not a drinker, but I've never liked all-male company. And one of the reasons is all-male company can so easily spiral downwards, morally downwards, into this kind of wickedness and evil. We'll be talking in a minute to Nicola Thorpe, an actress and activist who was the receptionist sent home after refusing to wear high heels at work. I'm always alert to men telling women what they should wear. That they should wear short skirts, they mustn't wear long skirts, they can't wear a burqa or a burkini. Men have no right to tell women what to wear. They have no right to invade the personal space of women. They have no right to advance sexually upon women without agreement and consent. And just because they've bought an expensive seat at an expensive table in an expensive hotel, it doesn't give them the right to be modern-day William Zanzingers. And we'll be talking also about Tony Blair. Just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water, there he was on Monday, stabbing Jeremy Corbyn in the back. Labour under Corbyn, he said, was worse than Labour during the problem it had with the Trotskyite militant tendency in the 1980s. He's still in the party, though. He hasn't been expelled for bringing the party into disrepute. Not like me. Not like me. I was expelled for trying to stop the war on Iraq, started by Tony Blair, on a pack of lies. And day after day, year after year, he's been allowed to knife Labour in the back for the edification of Labour's enemies. And nothing happens to him. And then, in the snow, up he popped in Davos with the other plutocrats, telling us that Brexit is going to be a political and economic disaster, even as all the evidence mounts. Absolutely to the contrary. And my other favourite person, Margaret Thatcher. James wants a statue built to Margaret Thatcher. So do I. I want it built because it will be destroyed within 24 hours. And then the sculptors of England will get another one to build, and another, and another, and another. In fact, why don't we go for broke? Why don't we put Thatcher and her illegitimate son, Tony Blair, together on 2 plinths, anywhere you like? And I tell you, neither will survive. And we'll be talking about Boris Johnson. Oh, how he would have enjoyed the President's Club last Thursday in Park Lane. Would have reminded him of his Bullingdon days when people in tuxedos with privilege and wealth could go around trashing other people's small restaurants in Oxford, throwing bread rolls at the staff and the waiters. Boris Johnson seems to be a one-man government at the moment. Just the other day, he told the country, before he told his cabinet colleagues, what he was going to say in the cabinet. Now, I've been around politics for a long, long time, and I've never seen that happen before. He appointed himself the Minister for Health and said that immediately on Brexit Day, the NHS should get £100 million a week extra to spend. I agree with that, though I'd go much further. But what kind of a government do we have where the Prime Minister is so weak that our cabinet colleagues are press releasing what they're going to be demanding from her before they even come up Downing Street and through the door of number 10 in order to do it? And then, this very day, Boris Johnson announced his own foreign policy. He announced that Donald Trump's illegal, illogical, deeply incendiary decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, a move rejected by every country in the world except Donald Trump, the Marshall Islands, and 5 other atolls. We've all rejected it. The whole world has rejected it. But Boris Johnson announced today that actually Trump's unilateral move provides a great opportunity for peace. My goodness, his parents wasted all that money on his expensive education. Well, that's what I say. What do you say? 0344 499 1000. That's the number to call.